Motivation is vicious. It gets you addicted to itself without you even realizing. And when you need it the most, it betrays you. It goes boom on your back. Now, I don't mean to scare you. In fact, in this video today, we are going to dive deep into motivation. And by the end of this, we would have turned the toxic relationship that we are mentioning into a healthy one. Healthy. Now, I'm Kirti Wodenbund, and I'm the founder and CEO of Zeniti Wellness, which, surprise, surprise, is a wellness company. And even though we've got few apps on both Android and iOS, in this moment, I've got nothing to sell to you, not right here, right now. If anything, I've got a nice recommendation. A song titled Right Here, Right Now by Fatboy Slim. And if you know about it already, drop a comment. Say cheers. Now, let's proceed. So, why am I even making this digital self-reflection? Putting it out there into the digital noise that is already so much? Well, I realized that it's not really unique to me. In fact, if anything, it's sort of a collective journal. It's as much mine as it is yours. Yes, you, my beautiful viewer. And another way to put it is that the dreams and desires that drive me and the fears that overshadow them, they might be unique to me. They might differ from yours vastly. But if you go deeper, the feelings underlying these, they are too similar. In fact, we share the same bed, baby. As my friend, dear friend, Friedrich Nietzsche would put it, we are human, all too human. Now here's another one that I really hope, in fact, that you can relate to. Because if you can't, then I'm a lonely baby, maybe. Actually, truth be told, I've talked to so many people over time and just reflected on it that I know for sure that I'm not a lonely baby. Or so I tell myself. Guess we'll never know. But you see, I've fallen for the motivation trap so many times that I would seek it to do anything and everything. In fact, without motivation, I would often feel lost, even anxious. And, it was like, no, it's not that extreme, but I'm just going to say it because it sounds cool. And it came to my mind already, so I'm going to just put it out there. So I would often call out its name like a lost lover in the woods of books and YouTube videos and whatever source of motivation you can imagine. There's a partial truth in it, by the way. That said, even to this day, today, I don't hate motivation. Got a little bit of love for it. Yes, even after all of this. Now wait, did I just say, after spitting all this vitriol, that I still love motivation? I sure do. You see, such is the nature of motivation. It's like a spark. We all have these moments, rare, sometimes rare. It might be a phase in your life where you're getting too much of it all the time, or maybe none of it. But overall, you all can relate to it, I guess, that we're on top of the mountain, can do anything, invincible, right? We dream big, bigger, biggest there. It's only later that we realize we've been betrayed. Another way to see it is that it's like a marathon. That in the beginning of it, everyone's cheering you up. You're the king of the hill. And in that, you have to realize that you cannot depend on all this cheering, because when your muscles are sore from all that running for tens of miles, it's not this cheering up that's going to come to help you. Right? You're all by yourself, all alone maybe. Or is there a helping tool? We'll come to it in a moment. But yes, you have to realize that you cannot depend on motivation to reach the finish line far, far away. In your day-to-day grind, in your day-to-day grind, when you're down bad, you're tired, your spirit broken, all your plans failing, your motivation is nowhere to be seen. But there is a saving grace. It's the quality of your commitment, your pure devotion to your cause, to your purpose. It's your friend forever. And also the title of another great song, Pure Devotion by Freeloader, a song from the Sony Ericsson Walkman era. Now, if you ask me, the current me, the wiser me, not the wisest, just a bit wiser, then what would I tell my past self? I would say, baby KVP of the past, please don't depend on motivation as the final thing. Just use it as a spark, as a matchstick that you use to light up the candle at the altar of your devotion. Without spark, there is no fire, but the fire, la flame, is much bigger. If you know, you know. Now, coming back to this, you see, feel free to use motivation as a way to spin the flywheel, to build up some momentum. But once you get going, there is no turning back. It's going to be the quality of your commitment, of your devotion that's going to get you through. When you keep going despite how you feel, you're feeling like an unstoppable force of nature, like a tsunami. Me like some tsunami. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, now this mode of operation is quite selfless. When you're driven by your purpose, by your devotion, because you see, are you feeling great? You still keep going. Are you feeling down, bad? You still keep going. Why? Because you know that this is the only way. The job's not done until it is done. Also, it's something that I would like to compare to a mother, to the maternal instincts in most mammals at least, and many animals in fact, right? Is that when the baby is crying and the mommy hears that, trust me, mommy's gonna do anything and everything to get the baby fed. Now, I would like to quote something from another friend of mine. In fact, one of the best friends of mine, Marcus Aurelius. Though I'm afraid that this might be a one-sided relationship. Because if you went to Marcus and asked him, hey, how do you like Kirti? I think he might say that he doesn't even know me. Kirti who? Yeah, but please don't ask him. I'll meet him someday. Maybe then we'll become friends. But you know what Marcus Aurelius said, and I don't remember it verbatim, so I'm just gonna paraphrase it, is that something like that I'm not a flame. What would have extinguished a flame? If you feed the same thing to a conflagration, it's gonna burn brighter. A conflagration is like a forest fire or something, right? So we have established that motivation is cheap and devotion is the diamond you seek. But, you know, honestly, that's not enough. There's still one more secret ingredient you need to complete the equation. And that's something that you can learn from any animal. Specifically for me, my favorite, cows and dogs. Yeah. You want the humility of a cow or a dog. Bow wow. Much wow. Because life is random and you must embrace its randomness. Now, some may call it luck, but we'll stick to randomness. That is the superset of luck, right? Luck is just the positive subset of randomness, but it's a lot about the perspective. As in a song by Linkin Park, Fort Minor. So Mike Shinoda, he says that one man's pain is another man's pleasure, and one man's trash is another man's treasure, which is also a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not going to define luck, but we have two stories that can drive the point home, especially with me sitting right here in India. The number one that comes to my mind is Mr. Christopher Columbus. Around 500 years ago from today, he set his sails to, to land here where I'm sitting. Not exactly here. Hello, Columbus. But he never landed here. Where he landed is what we know today as North America, majority of it being the United States of America. Now, now some may say, hey, are you out of your mind, KVP? That this was one of the worst things. So many people died. And I'm not even going to get into it because you know what? What is right, what is wrong? But let's not get into it. Let's stick to our topic because there are just a million ways for this mind to digress. If I'm digressing at just cows and dogs, this is a big one. And we will come to it. That's my promise. To summarize, the man went for India, ended up in USA, and here we are today. If he never touched that land, we don't know what would have happened, right? Of course, eventually it would have been discovered. I don't doubt that, but the timeline of history would have changed quite a bit. Now, another one that comes to my mind is a pretty recent one. Something in the last 1 year or two. A girl was picked up from the slums of Mumbai. Again, it's a story from India. She was picked up from the slums of Mumbai, I think, and it was for either modeling or acting in a movie, something. Basically, she got the limelight and lots of money that follows and the fame and everything, blah blah blah. But if you think, going back to that Fort Minor song, right? That one man's pain is another man's pleasure. It also applies to women and all the genders. So here in India, a country where at least 50 million, I don't have my facts straight, but it's definitely more than this, that I can guarantee, is that more than 50 million people make less than $3 a day. And these are considered poor people. Definitely. I mean, man, can you imagine? Right? So, among those people, if you pick even 1% people, that would be out of 50 million, 500,000 people at least would have qualified for the same thing, but they never got that chance. So she did get lucky, and such is the randomness of life. But why am I talking about all of this randomness? The thing is, it's not in your control. Or is it? Well, we're going to touch upon it very shortly. But for now, remember that the least you can do is give your best and not expect anything in return. That, at least for me personally, has been the biggest mindset shift that helped me do things and do them well, because all that matters in that mindset is your intrinsic motivation, not the extrinsic one. It's not to make someone else feel better, or actually purpose wise, yeah, we are doing at Zeniti, we do things to make world a better place, but still it's driven by our own desires, because when we have put in the effort, we know that at least we tried, we gave it our best, right? Sadly, we have not given our best, and that's why I'm making these videos. Well, again, topic for another video. Oh. Now, the point here is you want to bring this attitude that the universe owes you nothing to everything you touch. So, no one deserves anything, neither good nor bad. No one's entitled to anything. The only thing that you can be grateful for is that you're alive, is that you're breathing right here. And that itself is, as my nephew would say, he's like 5 years old. So he would say that it's a 1 in a billion, gazillion, godzillion chance, Kaku. He calls me Kaku. Now, as we approach the end of our discussion, to some of you, this might not seem like the most optimistic note, because remember, so far, what have we established? That motivation is cheap, devotion is the diamond you seek, and give your best, give your all to life without expecting anything in return. But guess what? As humans, even dogs, we are pretty selfish animals. Selfishness, by the way, is an amazing one. We'll talk about it in another video as well. So, for those, I have something to end this on an optimistic note. This is a quote by Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. And I think so, the third president of the USA. And again, see the randomness of life. Christopher Columbus, USA, Thomas Jefferson, KBP, you and me in this moment talking. But what he said was, or what he used to say, is I love luck because the harder I work, the luckier I get. If you have to take away one thing, and one thing only from this video, let me say this. Actually, it's few things, but they all mean similar. Is that don't be a spark. You want to be a flame. Nope. You want to be a forest flyer. Flyer? Forest fire. You want to be a forest fire. Heck, be the sun. Go all in. Don't be mid. Live large. Big, bigger, biggest, baby. In fact, going back to what we just discussed, make yourself lucky. Put in so much work that luck has to look back at you and say, damn, who that hottie? No matter for how long I have sat on these ideas like a hen and hashed the F out of them, I could not make them a part of my character, of my being. I failed again and again at, at exhibiting those lessons at different thresholds in my life. And this here is my attempt to not only engrave those things, etch them in my DNA, not literally, of course, maybe, no pseudoscience. And if in this process I can help even one more person, it's not even about helping. Even a little bit of, nudge, a reinforcement sometimes is a big one. I've felt that myself multiple times in life where you get an assurance that are we on the right track, right? I'm not saying I know it all, but there are a few things, and whatever I speak of are things that I speak from my own experience and definitely validated from many more. So if this helps even one more person, is it's an achievement for me. It makes me more than happy. And for those out there, the haters who are gonna say, KVP, just one more person? That's a pretty low bar. Guess what? For that beautiful human who found value, who is a seeker of value, if they found value in this, I'm more than happy to take low bar as my middle name. It's okay. We can live with it. What's in a name anyway? Now, to wrap it up, I would love to quote Zeniti's motto. That is, heaven is here. And we're all in this together. Actually, all in this together is just something I like. Heaven is here is the only part of the motto. But it's okay. We can live with it. See you guys in the next one. Love you all. Like, seriously, my babies. Don't call me daddy, please. Okay, bye.